So taking yesterday's game between the Washington Commanders and the New England Patriots at face value, in the grand scheme of things, it does not mean much. But I do think the shellacking that the New England Patriots put on the Washington Commanders actually exposed the truth about what's beneath the surface of the Washington Commanders. Let's talk about it.
The way that we live is not for everybody.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
How do you think the rest of Jaden Daniels' career is going to go? If we're, 6, 7 games into Jaden Daniels' career, and he's already milking injuries? Like,
stop saying my name, you dick riding bastard. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, and Shawty is the winner. You can tell that Shawty's love again now, she's confident.
So before we get any further, I want to give a huge shout out to my man Chad Ricardo from Fox 5. As today, your man Juan Gotti was a special guest on his show, live from Fox 5 Studios, Loud AF. And my Fox 5 interview with Chad Ricardo is now on the channel. If you guys have not checked that out, please click the link in the description or go to the video section of the channel and check it out. I trust and believe me when I say you don't want to miss it. Everything that we talked about, and without you guys, this would not have been possible. So thank you for allowing me to get that kind of opportunity, as that's my dream right there, is to be your local sports anchor for Fox 5 or whatever is out there for your man Juan Gotti. So continue to hit that like button, continue to hit that subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, they are now watching. So let's talk about last night, as again, it does not mean much in the grand scheme of things of the final score, as obviously the Washington Commanders got beat down, of course, right? And I'll be lying to you if I said I expected that. Now, I didn't expect us to win. I didn't expect it to be something of 48 points. But what I did expect, knowing this coaching staff and knowing how hard we practice and how much we preach and discipline and whatever may have you about this squad, I at least thought we would see some type of competitiveness. Now, again, I don't want to over-analyze it, as it was the first preseason game, and it was a team that was missing 30-plus starters. But what I will say, and what was even more eye-opening to me, is that beneath the hype of Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel and some of these starters that we have, the Washington Commanders reserves and backups are piss poor. And let's just call it what it is. The backups and reserves is what makes your team, right? Because again, a long season is ahead of the Washington Commanders from 17 weeks, and we hope it's multiple bonus football games, including the Super Bowl. We hope that that's the case. And although the best is nobody gets hurt and we are praying for injuries, football is a violent sport, so injuries could most likely come about, and you need some of these guys last night. You may need them come late stretch of the season, right? And I'm talking Ja'Cory Brooks, I'm talking Chris Moore, I'm talking KJ Osborne and Luke McCaffrey, right? And Bobby Price. You may need these guys, and these are names that you may scoff at now as like, man, get that out of my face. This guy was horrible last night. But the point is, you look around the league at all the successful teams, like a Baltimore, how they were so able to continue this preseason streak before we ended it 2 seasons ago. It's because outside of their starters, for the rest of their squad, that was the standard. They still had talent beneath the Lamar Jacksons and the Derrick Henrys and all the other talented players on that roster. Beneath that, the reserves are ready to rock and roll. And I don't think that's where Washington is at that point, and at this point, I should say. And I think that was the eye-opener for me. But you know what's crazy is because although this doesn't have no impact on the upcoming season, and I still think we're going to have a damn good season. I still fully expect us to be a playoff contender, NFC championship contender, Super Bowl contender. What was, kind of the thing for me is a lot of fans have tried to say that to me. They say, Juan, Don't get me wrong. We love Jaden. We love Terry. We love everything we got going on. But Juan, the reserves, the backups, the back end of the roster, it's a little head scratching. And for me, I not necessarily was against it, but I'm like, nah, man, we good because we got Mikey and we got Trey and we got Marshawn Lattimore. We got all these pieces, Von Miller. But again, Juan, this ain't tennis, my man. This ain't baseball. This is a contact sport, and although you don't expect to have to depend on a Jacob Martin a lot, it may become the time in which he's out there. It may become a time in which Colin Vickers may be a name that you may have to call up off the practice squad. So, for me, that's where I have the coming down to earth realization is that it's only year 2. See, it's easy to mask that when the starters are playing and they're playing so well. And we got Jaden Daniels as an MVP caliber S quarterback, and we got Terry McLaurin. Right? It's easy for us to get blinded by that. But I think preseason is where you build the outer structure of your roster, right? You get what I'm saying? Like the infrastructure, the centerpiece, the heartbeat of the franchise is the names I've already named. Jaden, Terry, Debo, all these guys, learn me, right? Those new additions. Those are the heartbeats, and those are the players that you expect to lean on to lead you to success. But the players that are going to ultimately help you get there are going to be the reserves, stepping up in late season games. Remember, De'Ami Brown, prior to his postseason success all of a sudden and coming out party, he was just a regular receiver in the back end of this roster. 4th string, 3rd string even, right? Not really creating much noise. Now tell me you can't see that being the case again for how long we expect to play ball this year. You don't expect a guy like Luke McCaffrey to have to pop up. A guy like Michael Gallup to have to pop up. Given the fact that we know the injury concerns surrounding Noah Brown's name, and he's not guaranteed to play a full 17-week game season, that can be your reality. And if that's your reality, you need Ja'Cory Brooks to step up. I like what I saw from Benson, and there were some great things that I saw last night from a guy like Bill, Ja'Cory, Krosky, Murray, right? Like, I don't want that tomorrow. I don't want yesterday's performance to be all swallowed up by the outcome, because that, again, that is not what's mattering in the most here, and I don't want people to confuse me just realizing something or having something to say about the truth to have them think I'm hating on the squad or I don't think this team's going to be successful this year, because that is not the case, because I'm fully aware that we did not play our starters. I'm fully aware of that. And I'm fully aware that the Patriots did what they did yesterday because they are where we were last year. Let's put it that way. Right? They're trying to change the culture. They're trying to set a standard. So yesterday's performance and game was bigger than what it was for us. It was a set the standard. This is how things are going to run now in Foxborough, especially with like the Tom Brady statue unveiling and whatnot. That's what yesterday was all about for the New England Patriots. And for the Washington Commanders, it was more so about evaluation. And let's just say a lot of guys failed the evaluation. It would have been one thing had it been low scoring like every single other preseason game that we are usually accustomed to. But it was a total beat. It just didn't feel effort. It didn't feel like that. It didn't feel disciplined. You had pre-snap penalties. You had drop passes. You had errant throws. You had holdings. You had everything that could go, missed PATs and bad special teams play as you allowed Travion Henderson to get the opening kickoff all the way back to the crib. Everything that went wrong could have went wrong. And again, that's the biggest surprise for me is because, like Dan Quinn said, which I don't know if you guys got an opportunity to listen to his press conference or check him out post game, but he was pissed. He was livid. And you would have thought we lost the NFC Championship game the way yesterday's performance went. He said it, man. He's like, look, bro, I can live with losing, right? Losing is a part of the game. It's a part of the sport. You're not going to win every single Sunday. But what I can't live with is the effort or the lack thereof or the attention to detail. What the hell do we spend all summer practicing for? Why do we have these joint practices for? It's to prep you for these opportunities and get you prepared for if you have to come in and play. And I think me and DQ, we're like this when it comes to our perspective of last night's game. We're eye to eye. Because I echo everything Dan Quinn said and felt. And that's why the fans love DQ. Because he's an extended version of us, if you want to keep it real. He ain't no coach that's going to BS you and blow smoke up his players' tails. He's going to tell it exactly how a fan would. And yesterday was piss poor effort. Not the final score. So for the people that are going to be hard to hear in the back, I can give a F about the final score. It does not matter to me what that was. I just wanted to see competitiveness. I just wanted to see some of these young guys go out and make a name for themselves. Go out and do something for these veterans that are on last opportunities. I.e. KJ Osborne, who was once looked at as a true number 3 in this league. Dropping passes, doing a bunch of nothing out there. Chris Moore, same thing. So it wasn't just the young fellas. It wasn't just the inexperienced taking over. You had the veterans not necessarily doing their best part. And again, I spoke about this last night. Sam Hartman was a guy that I was truly disappointed in yesterday, because not that I expected him to be perfect, but when you have an opportunity like yesterday, you cannot allow it to squander or swindle or whatever word you want to use, because no Jaden Daniels, no Marcus Mariota. You had the full show until Josh Johnson came in. You had the full opportunity to put a stranglehold on this quarterback 3 and even audition for a future QB2 role once Marcus Mariota exit stage left. But you didn't do that. And I will give him some credit. As the game went on, he kind of started to settle in. But for the most part, he was antsy. He was missing easy throws. He was late on a few throws, especially that interception. A lot of people want to say that was a good ball by him. No, that was the lack of throwing with anticipation and throwing the ball late. You're supposed to put the ball on him. And granted, Michael Gallup did slip, so that may have had a little bit to do as to why the pass was ultimately intercepted, because had he not slipped, it probably would have been just a pass breakup. But you don't make that throw, right? You don't miss Ben Sinnott, who was wide open a lot last night. I really loved what I saw from Ben Sinnott last night, as I felt like he was truly separating. I don't know if you guys peeped that about Ben Sinnott yesterday, but I felt like he was truly creating some separation and making plays for himself, and it just wasn't being met because the quarterback play wasn't being met. And that's what I ultimately think a lot of these talented guys that we have on this roster, or at least guys that we assume have some type of potential, i.e. a Ja'Cory Brooks, they may not be able to show their full potential because they don't have a backup quarterback that's able to come out there and play somewhat competent. That's why I was hoping that Mariota would have got an opportunity to play, at least with the twos, at least. Giving the twos an opportunity to see some type of pro, some type of NFL vet that can actually get it done and not rely on an older Josh Johnson or rely on a second-year Sam Hartman, right? Like, it would have been great to see Mariota play, and I hope he does next week, as I do expect the starters to play as serious too, as Cincinnati's also playing their starters as well. It felt like we were missing a lot of tackles as well. And I get it. It's the backups, but a lot of the same issues that we had last season in terms of poor angles and in terms of not being able to stop the outside run. I mean, look at yesterday's game. It was such identical to all of our issues last year. So it's like, hell. Like, I get our starters ain't playing, but damn, like, we still can't defend the run on the outside. We still getting pushed up front. We're still not able to get consistent pressure from the exterior of the pass rush, right? We're still not able to catch the ball. Chris Moore, like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? So again, I just want to put it into its proper perspective again. Like, I just wanted people to be reminded that, like, it doesn't matter, right? Because our starters weren't out there. Had Jaden Daniels and Mikey Samuel and Debo Samuel and Terry McLaurin was under contract and had been playing, I'm sure it would have looked better because it was their ones versus, like, our threes instead of our ones versus their ones. Don't get me wrong. But I definitely think a team that is more established in terms of their culture and organization and had more years under a specific program and regime probably would have put up a better fight. Because 48 points, regardless of how you look at it, it's a little bit concerning in terms of where we are as a whole roster. Right? You go beneath the excitement level of the starters. You go beneath the excitement level of everything that we've built up until this point. And you kind of slice through the back of it. And it's like, it ain't really too much beneath the starters that they could truly hang a head on. And that's just my whole thing, is because where I expect us to go and where I think we will ultimately go is a place that I think you're going to have to rely on some of these people that I named, some of these backup guys that I felt definitely will be a key part of this roster. I was very surprised to see our special teams unit play as poor as they did, both in the defense return aspect of things, but also our opportunities. Like, where was Jalen Lane at yesterday? He was one guy that I thought would have had ample opportunities to show what he can do with the ball in his hands, whether it's the punt return aspect or the playmaking ability as a receiver or end around, double screen, double pass. Like, we try to do it with Luke McCaffrey, but why do you think people don't like Luke McCaffrey? Because look at the effed up situations he's always put in. Nobody looks at Luke McCaffrey when he's running a real route and he's getting open. They only seem to want to use him as a gadget guy, but I thought that's what you got Jalen Lane for. So why can't we do that with Jalen Lane, right? Like, why didn't we give Jalen Lane punt return, kick return opportunities? Nobody wants to see Kazmir Allen, who's oddly still around, who's oddly wearing number 22, looking like Demetrius Felton out there. Like, we don't want to see Kaz Allen. That Kaz Allen experiment died 2 years ago in the preseason, where he had his opportunity and couldn't catch a code. So nobody wants to continue to see. We want to see Jalen Lane. Hell, I even want to see Michael Straction. I want to even see Demetrius Felton back there. Right? I would rather see so much other than Kazmir Allen. But we'll see how they respond. I expect the starters to click and to look better than what we did. It will probably be a little bit harder because Terry McLaurin most likely won't be out there. But I fully expect it to click like that for the Washington Commanders. I expect a much better showing from these backups versus Cincinnati on Monday night. I expect a better overall showing, as Dan Quinn, he was heated that his team did not look prepared at all whatsoever. And you know he's hard about that because that's what he prides himself in. We can't promise you a win, but we promise you that we're gonna show up and we're gonna fight like hell and fight tooth and nail to get it done. But yesterday, I ain't gonna lie, it ain't look like that was the case at all. That felt Jay Gruden-ish, Club J. That felt Ron Rivera-ish last night. You know what I mean? We know Rivera was some cut at preparing rosters. So, that being said, I don't want no one to overreact from my video today. I love this team. I fully support this team, and I still expect this team to be good. Okay? I do. From the starters and whatnot, and maybe the second stringers, but beneath that, we do have a big problem that I think needs to be addressed. That being said, as always, being boy Juan Gotti, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 11,000 subscribers, so we greatly appreciate if you haven't reached that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. You have a blessed one. Stay safe. Be easy out there. Peace.
Ballin' like I'm D-Sean, throw the bomb, G. That's IG, my jersey never seen a laundry.